Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It's Magic Hobbit here with another Storytime video, and this one is a little bit different than the last one. No drugs this time, no crazy parties, nothing like that. Just a ghost story, and because it's a ghost story and it's a creepy story, I figured I'd stick some Bloodborne gameplay in the background for you. Creepy story, creepy game, so let's just get right into it. Now, when this story took place, I was somewhere between the age of 11 and 13, and with that said, I'm 23 years old now, so I'm going off of memory from 10 years ago, so cut me a little bit of slack. I'm going to do the best that I can to try and give you all the little details that I can actually remember, that I know for a fact happened anyway. So to start this off and to give you context of what's happening, my brother was about 13 or 14, like I said, can't exactly remember, somewhere between that, and he had just gotten a new girlfriend. So of course, you know how that goes. Me being with them all the time and her coming around all the time, they're sucking face and doing gross stuff, and me naturally not wanting to be the third wheel and just not wanting to be around that. I was just like, bro, let's just not have her over tonight. And he said, no, she's gonna bring over. We're gonna use a fake name here, obviously. She's gonna bring over Ashley. So Ashley was another girl from my school, and I had known her very well, and she'd known her for a long time, and she was in my class, so I figured, all right, cool, at least I'm not going to be third wheeling it the whole night. At least there'll be somebody else with me, so I'm not sitting here watching you guys fucking make out the whole time, you know? Now, for some more context, the house that we lived in, it was a pretty old house, but it had a creepy ass fucking basement. Like, straight out of a horror movie, this fucking place was. Like, holes in the walls, like all concrete down there, no carpet, no hardwood. It's just a room, like two, three rooms that are just blocks of concrete, and it's creepy as shit. The stairs were fucking wood and creaky, and if it, swear to God, if you looked in this basement, you would think that somebody got murdered down there. It straight up looked like the basement from the Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds and that fine ass babysitter. You know exactly what movie I'm talking about. That's what it looked like. And it had one of the doors at the top of the stairwell that was one of those sliding doors that you would see in a closet or a pantry or something like that. And that door is a big part of this story, okay? Keep that in the back of your mind, like that this door is here. So me, my brother, his girlfriend, and this girl Ashley are all chilling in my living room, and we're watching a horror movie because if you know anything about me, or if you know anything about my family, we're really big horror movie fanatics where I live. We love the shit out of horror movies or just anything that's remotely kind of scary or ghost-like, which is why it's a little bit surprising to me that when this kind of situation finally did happen to me, it scared the fucking shit out of me. I didn't think that it would scare me as much as it did, but it fucking did, and now I'm scarred for life, so there's that. So to try and paint this right for you guys, the living room has the TV and two couches in it, and then just behind that would have been my dining room. And then on the left side of the room, there's my front door a little bit in the corner, and then there is that sliding door I was referring to the basement, just a little bit behind it. So the movie finally ends, and they're getting ready to leave, and me and my brother are helping them get packed up and all ready to go. My brother is walking them out the front door and saying goodbye, and I'm sitting on the couch, and I can see that door out of my peripheral vision, and I'm looking at the TV with my, most of my attention is towards the TV, but I can see that door to the basement out of my peripherals. And as my brother is closing the front door to let them out, simultaneously, as the front door closed, that sliding door to the basement creaked open. And I was kind of like, that's weird. Hey, bro, did you just see that? And he's like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? Did I just see what? And I'm like, dude, that door just fucking opened by itself the very second that you closed that door. And he's like, well, there's got to be a logical explanation for this. Like, obviously, it's just the house shaking. Like, maybe it's just because I closed the door pretty hard. Like, we'll try it again. I'll prove it to you. Like, there's no way, like, there's nothing weird going on here. I'll do it again and I'll show you. So he walks over to that sliding door and he closes it, and then he marches over to the front door, determined to try and tell me that this is exactly how it happened. And he slams that front door, expecting that sliding door to the basement to come swinging open again. And, of course, it did not. And because it did not, me obviously being the believer of ghosts and the horror fanatic that I was trying to tell him, hey man, like, we got a ghosty boy, just like, get over it. And he was like, no, 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 like, I'm gonna prove it to you. Like, it was just the fucking house shaking. I'm telling you right now, man, it was just me slamming the door. And for about, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours maybe went on, where it was me and him testing different scenarios and different theories, like opening the sliding door just maybe like about half an inch and then closing the door, or and then maybe we've tried having both of us on that side of the house, like by the front door, to see if maybe it was the weight of all those people moving around at the same time, like 3 people, and seeing if that might have shifted it. And of course, nothing. That door was not budging. It didn't matter how many different ways we tried to recreate the scenario that we had just witnessed. It it wouldn't happen. We couldn't get that door to open again, like on purpose, for the fucking life of us. We were absolutely clueless as to how it fucking happened at that point. Well, he was. I had the idea, and I was like, it's a good old ghosty boy. So, needless to say, after about a couple of hours of trying different things, we eventually got over it and started playing some Call of Duty. Did that for a few more hours, and then Jake looked at me about, I don't know, maybe 12:30, maybe 1 o'clock, somewhere between there, and he said, hey, I'm going to bed. You do whatever you want to do. And we were kind of poor back in the day. Like, we were definitely not, we weren't, we weren't like desperately poor, like really, really struggling for money, but we weren't as wealthy as a lot of the other kids in my area either. Like, the way to explain it was, with where I lived at this point in time in my life, I lived in a very suburban area, but we were just barely getting by, you know? Like, the only way I could really put it, like, have it make sense, is to grow up poor around rich people, if that makes sense. So we had, the point that I'm getting at here is, all we had for like a computer was a really old ass PC, like old as shit, like the big boxy ones. And the whole family, we would all have to share that to go on the internet and do things like that, talk to people, all that stuff. So that's what I was doing. I was on the computer on my Facebook account just talking to some random people. So I'm talking to my friends, and out of my peripherals, once again, I see that door start to creak open. And nobody's down here but me at this point. So I see that door creak open. I look over and I see it swing open the rest of the way. It started off with a creak and then it ended with a swing. And I immediately fucking turned that computer off, ran the fuck upstairs, and hopped into my bunk bed because I was scared fucking shitless. I fucking cowered in my bed for the rest of the night until I eventually fell asleep, and then I woke up the next morning, told my brother about it, told my mom about it, and obviously know how that went. They didn't believe me, and they didn't really care that much. But let me know in the comments if you guys got any ghosty or ghouly stories like this, or anything of that nature, because I'd like to hear it, I'd like to read it, I think it would be a lot of fun. And I'll tell you guys in the next one about the other time that I had actually seen a ghost. This time in this story I didn't really see a ghost, but there was one time in my life where I actually did, in fact, 100% see a fucking ghost. And if you want to hear that story in full detail, then drop a like on this video and I'll make sure to get that out on the next one. So that is it for this story time. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure that you drop a like and subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be dropping videos at least like 2-3 times a month. That's what we're going to try and go for here, because we're still fairly new to this. We're getting used to the whole editing situation and whatnot. And when we get better, we'll be popping them and pumping them all out for you guys to enjoy. And with it all said and done, like I always say, deuces.